Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the June 6th Goodhue County Board meeting here in Pine Island. If you will all join me, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Commissioner Gressett, would you like to welcome everyone here today?
Good morning. My name is Todd Gressett, and I'm the commissioner here for District 3. Pine Island is in my district, and just wanted to thank the mayor and the city council here in Pine Island for letting us do this. We did not go to the Cannon Valley Fair this year due to scheduling issues, so I said, hey, I think we should go to Pine Island. So thank you and appreciate it. And if you have any questions, like I say, I'm here in District 3, get a hold of me and we'll do whatever we can for you. So thanks for coming out today.
Thank you very much. All right, are there any disclosures of interest this morning? All right, hearing none. Review and approve the previous board meeting minutes.
Move approval, Anderson.
Second, Betcher.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the board meetings. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. Review and approve the county board agenda. I know we have one small change. Do we have any others?
We did pull one MOU off of the consent agenda, so depending on when you printed your agenda, that's the only thing we had, so.
That's number 4. No.
Depends on you printed your agenda.
All right.
Andrea, what number did it used to be? It's taken off, so.
It's up. All right. I am asking that we remove item number 4 from the consent agenda and just add it onto the regular agenda.
Second, Gressett.
All right, it's been moved and approved. Any other comments on the agenda? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, review and approve the following items on the consent agenda. Everyone has had an opportunity to go over the consent agenda. There are 7 then if we're moving number 4.
I'll move approval, Gressett.
Second, Anderson.
All right, it's been moved and approved to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much. We're on to the regular agenda, Land Use Management Director's Report.
You're gonna put the eminent domain in the public works.
Yes.
Okay. So the first item that we have for you today is the consideration of an interim use permit request for a contractor's yard for L&L Trucking of Mazeppa Inc. in Zumbrota Township. The business is located on 228th Avenue and hauls agricultural lime, aggregate, and scrap metal. The main activity on their property is going to be the storage of trucks and trailers for L&L Trucking. No repair work is conducted on site and there's no public office on site. Staff was not aware until 2023 that a trucking operation was taking place on the site, which prompted additional communication and the application for a contractor's yard permit. Planning Commission considered this item at their May meeting and has recommended approval of this as an interim use permit, which would expire upon the sale of the property. So Planning Advisory Commission recommends that the county board adopt staff report into the record, adopt findings of fact, accept testimony, application testimony, exhibits, and other evidence presented into the record, and approve the request for a contractor's yard by Luke Lumen as an interim use permit with 5 conditions. The 5th condition being the interim use permit expires upon the sale of the property.
Move approval of the PAC recommendation of the finding of fact and the exhibits and the conditions, 5 conditions.
Right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the staff report with 1 to 5 conditions. Any other discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item that we have for you is an interim use permit request for a non-agricultural use associated with agricultural tourism, a wedding and event facility in Roscoe Township on 158th Avenue, owned by James Goplin. The request is to use an existing pole building to host wedding receptions and other events for up to 299 guests on the property. Events would take place from 8 a.m. to midnight Fridays and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays. And the Planning Commission also considered this request at their May meeting. And there were public comments received, which were included in your packets with the draft meeting minutes. 2 of the concerns were the amount of traffic on 158th Avenue and the safety of the roadway between County 11 and the Goplin's property. The Planning Commission added a condition that the owners route event traffic to and from the site from the north via 490th Street, and to also make this an interim use permit, which would terminate upon the sale of the property, much like the previous request. So the Planning Commission did recommend that the county board adopt the staff report into the record, adopt findings of fact, accept the application, testimony, exhibits, and other evidence presented into the record, and approve the request to establish a wedding/event facility with a maximum occupancy of 299 guests as an interim use permit with 10 conditions. The 9th being the expiration upon sale of the property, and the 10th being the event traffic routing. Staff would just like to note that these non-agricultural uses associated with agricultural tourism have been permitted as conditional use permits on A1 properties in the past. This property is zoned A1 Agricultural Protection District. These uses have also been permitted on gravel roads as well. And currently, Planning Commission and the staff are working on amending the ordinance to change this non-agricultural use to rural tourism. There will be a public hearing on that at our June 15th meeting. However, this will be considered under the existing ordinance provisions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments from the board?
I guess I will start. I am on the PHC, and this was, there's been a lot of talk about the A1 district and protecting our agriculture. So it, in this situation, it doesn't add anything to any setbacks for anyone else, because we already have our 1,000-foot setbacks. If there's any more event or buildings or anything going to be put up, I think the entire PAC board, my feeling is they would vote this down. But this is an existing structure, and it will not technically affect the neighbors other than some additional road traffic. So that's kind of the consensus. We did have a 4-2 vote on this one. So yeah, that's about it.
All right.
I'm
Anyone
gonna,
else?
I'm gonna move approval as presented, so we can have further discussion.
Yes. We have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Further discussion, go ahead.
So part of my issue is we're not the road authority for township roads. The township is. And the township signed off on this and said they're okay with it. So I'm okay with the way we've written it, with the coming in from the north rather than the south. But in reality, the road authority is not Goodhue County. The road authority is the township. So when it comes to talking about anything with the condition of the road or whatever, or safety of the road, that's really a township issue, not a county issue, because County Road 11, County Road 43, County Road 10 can handle this traffic, no problem. The other part, when we talk about the amount of traffic, in an A1 right now, you could permit a church on that road, which would definitely affect the traffic much different. And we can't say anything about that. So that's one thing towards the traffic. Someone could put 1 million bushel grain storage on there and run semis up and down that road all day long, every day. We can't say anything about that. So when traffic becomes the only thing we talk about, if it's permitted to do something else and that traffic could be much different, then the traffic for here is not any different to me. It's like whatever we permit on there is going to change the traffic. Whether it's that or whether it's a livestock facility or whatever, the traffic changes. The main thing is this fits our ordinance. We have to be objective about how we apply our ordinance. And this is being applied the same as it would have been if it would have been in Zumbrota Township or Cannon Falls Township or wherever else. So from that standpoint, we're following our ordinance, we're following our comprehensive plan, and this fits. So that's why I would vote to approve it.
Anyone else? I just have a couple of comments. I did speak yesterday with Mr. Bai, who is the neighbor. And from a farming standpoint, he definitely had his own perspective and his own concerns, of which I think are valuable because it's something that could happen. In regards to farming, he is not expected to not farm 7 days a week just because there's a venue going on. So I believe farming wise, he should just keep on doing what he does. Everyone knew that he was a farmer. The traffic, Commissioner Anderson has already discussed. And any accidents on the road, I mean, that's not something any of us can foresee into the future. They happen. Hopefully they won't happen very often, but if it does, we deal with it. So it's been moved and seconded. Right? All those in favor of passing the IUP with 10 conditions, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Human Resource Managers Report.
All three of them are online, but I believe Tom is taking this issue.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. In
You're muted.
2021, am I still muted? How about now? All right.
You try talking again, Tom.
Can you hear me now?
No,
Is it working?
still can't hear you.
How about now? All right, I'm gonna jump in.
Tom, I can
Yeah,
hear
he's
you.
really soft voice there.
We can see you though.
Briggs, you can hear me?
Must be on his end.
Would be a good test if he knew sign language.
Who can?
No, do we have any plan B?
Tom, this is
Well,
Justin.
okay,
I can
take
hear
it.
you.
Otherwise,
Okay.
Jessica or Mary, does your headset work?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Jess.
Maybe.
Tom, try unhooking your headset and just go through your computer.
I think they can't hear us in Pine Island, but we can
Yeah.
hear one another on Teams fine.
It's
That's
us.
exactly what's going on.
Doesn't
Yeah, Briggs.
always.
Tom, just speak like this.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Relatively, yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe. This is embarrassing.
I think they could hear you. I think they could hear you on your.
How about
cell
now?
phone, Tom.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ridiculous. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Now that the excitement's over, We wanted to talk to you briefly about,
No,
Juneteenth,
now you went out again.
the Juneteenth holiday. Are you kidding?
Well, now you're frozen.
How's that? Is that better?
Nope, can't hear you.
Yes, can I borrow yours?
It's the connection on the Pine Island side. We can all hear each other in
Yeah.
here, but they can't hear us on Pine Island.
Tom, it's not you, it's
No, I'm just
them.
present like this.
Okay. Can you hear me? Because everybody else on the call can hear, but you guys can't. So it's somewhere along the line. Good morning. After all the excitement, I wanted to talk briefly about Juneteenth. In 2021, we all know President Biden signed that legislation, making it a federal holiday. In Minnesota, on February 4th, the governor signed it into law to take effect on 2024. At the end of the session, there was legislation that passed authorizing the Juneteenth holiday to start for 2023. So in 13 days, it's going to be taken effect. We are recommending making Juneteenth a county holiday as well, and I'm going to read this resolution real quick to you that I guess we would be hopeful that the board would be supportive of. Whereas June 19th is nationally recognized as Juneteenth, the oldest known American celebration of the ending of slavery, and whereas more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st, 1863, Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas on June 19th to announce the Civil War had ended and the enslaved were now free. And whereas Juneteenth Day celebrations have since been held to commemorate African American freedoms from slavery, honoring this day 160 years later helps us learn our history and better understand the experiences of African Americans that shaped this nation. And whereas it is critical to the healing of divisions in this country that all Americans officially recognize the injustice of slavery and celebrate its end as part of our efforts to create a better union. And whereas Minnesota Governor Tim Walz recognized Juneteenth as a state holiday, signing it into state law and stating that Juneteenth is an important opportunity for communities across the state and nation to celebrate freedom, recognize the history and contributions of Black Americans, and recommit to building a more just and equitable society for everyone. Therefore, be it resolved that the Goodhue County Board recognizes and honors June 19th as National Juneteenth and remain committed to inspire equity, create alliances, celebrate diversity, and establish safe environments throughout the county. Yes. Awesome.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are coming back from recess. I sound like kindergarten. And I believe we are once again recording. All right, and do we have Tom on the line?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't think they're hearing you.
Nope.
All right.
Try this again.
All right, Tom, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can anybody hear me?
Tom, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
All right, Tom, will you back up to just whereas it's critical for the healing of divisions in the country, and then continue, please.
Whereas it is critical to the healing of divisions in this country that all Americans officially recognize the injustice of slavery and celebrate its end as part of our effort to create a better union. And whereas Minnesota Governor Tim Walz recognized Juneteenth as a state holiday, signing it into state law and stating that Juneteenth is an important opportunity for communities across the state and nation to celebrate freedom, recognize the history and contributions of Black Americans, and recommit to building a more just and equitable society for everyone. Therefore, be it resolved that the Goodhue County Board recognizes and honors June 19th as National Juneteenth and remains committed to inspire equity, inspire equity, create alliances, celebrate diversity, and establish safe environments throughout the county.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have an MOU in front of us that we would use if this is passed to work with the unions on making this an official Goodhue County holiday. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we adopt the MOA
I'll
And the
second.
resolution.
and the resolution.
On the resolution?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yep, and questions.
Yeah.
So we're moving forward with this, so we're basically granting it on both sides as long as we get union support to give an additional county holiday.
Yes, that
Yes.
is what this says.
Okay, so currently we have either 11 or 13.
Do you have the exact number? I think, for some reason, I thought it was 12.
Average everyday individuals get 7, like myself.
I'm not sure if anybody heard him. He said there's 12.
Okay,
County has 12.
county has 12, probably your banks probably get a few more. Currently, I think like Columbus Day, we changed it. You guys allowed current federal and state recognized holidays. Was it Columbus Day we took off and moved, and people generally were starting to take the day after Thanksgiving?
So we talked about doing floaters, but then we talked at one point in time about doing floaters. We never did do anything with Columbus Day other than change the name to Indigenous Peoples' Day.
But currently is the day after Thanksgiving considered a holiday from the county?
Yes.
Okay, and that was to take place of a current existing holiday? We didn't just give it, it took place of people, we used it or what?
That was before I got here, so it's predates 17 years. So if someone else has been here longer, they said.
I thought it took place of another holiday, they just decided to take that, so I guess I'm having trouble following the thought process here, is that we rename or we take any other holiday throughout, whether it be Columbus Day, Martin Luther King Day, how we do it at the schools, everybody's saying, well, we're taking the day off, or we're not, or we're taking a floating holiday. That I'm a little baffled, everybody's jumping on board saying, here's another holiday. I mean, we can recognize this Juneteenth what it is. I'm just not following the understanding of everybody else of why it equates to giving everybody another paid day off. Everybody else in the real world's working, that I'm just not following everybody else on the board, if that's what we're looking at. We can recognize the day. We already agreed to recognize it, I believe, as the board in previously, but I'm not in agreement with giving county employees an additional paid holiday. If they wanted to use it as a floater, if they want to have the day off, fully support that, but enough paid holidays. We have enough trouble finding people to work. We have enough comments that our staff is coming to us saying they're overworked. I'm not sure how we're resolving this problem. Here's another paid holiday. Take the day off. I don't know where everybody's going to find. I'm just telling you, from the private sector, it's hard to overcome. Like last week, I had to shove everything in a normal week into 4 days because it was a holiday. That's life. I'm just not sure how we're coming up with this fact of saying, here's another paid holiday. If you want the day off, it's a holiday, take the day off, but there's a little give and take. I'm just having trouble fathoming the aspect that we continue to find ways to work less, but yet get paid. As a private sector employer, as a private sector taxpayer, it's still coming out of my pocket to pay everybody to go to work. So fully support recognizing this, but as to giving our employees an additional paid holiday, no, we need to recognize it, but no paid holiday. If they want to negotiate it with unions or something, there's plenty of other holidays we can negotiate or arrange, but no paid holiday, no additional.
All right, you do recognize that this is now recognized as a state holiday though, correct?
National and state.
National and state holiday. Therefore, we would merely be following along what the federal government and the state governments are doing.
Okay. Now we're good.
All right, we are back in session. Yes, please continue.
So, once the state had named this as a holiday this year, it's illegal for the county to conduct business. That does not mean that the county board couldn't say, hey, we want you to go back to the negotiation table and we want you to remove, let's just say, Indigenous people or the day after Thanksgiving. That would be up to the board. I don't think the union's appetite is going to be real great on that, as the majority of the employers have made this a paid holiday in the state of Minnesota in the public sector. I'm on a statewide city and county managers group, and there's very, very few people that are not recognizing this as a state holiday. And I think the ones that do try to do that are going to run into some problem with labor issues.
All right, we have our county attorney, Mr. O'Keefe, who hopefully can offer a little bit of guidance.
Well, I just wanted to reemphasize what Administrator Arneson had just indicated. The statute, the legislation that made this a holiday, made it a state holiday for all of the entire state, including local units of government. And by statute, you are not allowed to conduct public business on a state holiday such as this. Statute that I'm talking about does list certain holidays as holidays that the county can choose, whether or not it's a paid holiday or a day off. And there are a list of holidays which it's a mandatory, you cannot conduct public business on those days. And this is one of those holidays that you cannot have public business on that day. So unfortunately, when it was adopted so soon that now we have to make a decision that's only a week or two away here. As Commissioner Anderson, I think, indicated, originally this legislation was passed and it was to take effect in 2024, which would have allowed counties to plan for it and work with their unions about how they're going to handle it. But as far as this coming Juneteenth is concerned, by statute, they are not allowed to conduct government business. So legally, you cannot have work that day.
We're not going to be working that day.
Except for,
Separate emergencies and days, and just like any other
essential
holiday that the county handles, that is an official holiday.
All right, well, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Just
Yep,
a comment,
go ahead.
and I get that it's a record. I fully understand it. I get that. Then I'm just having a problem with the understanding of people here about employment, labor, and getting stuff done. This isn't going to help anything. We're still paying for it. So then let's go to work the day after Thanksgiving, folks. Pretty simple. You know, if you want to give another, and just have you can't go backwards and say, we're not going to accept it as a holiday. It is what it is. It's passed. But there's several other days that we already pay people to not work. They can come to work. Black Friday can work. You can earn a little few bucks for everybody. So I support the resolution. I get that we got to accept it as a day off, but as a board, we maybe need to go back to the drawing board. And we also have our pay study implementation where we were told we may have a little bit of wiggle room with negotiation with our unions that let's work and not find more days for people not to work. So that's my concern. Let's be a little more productive and not take more days off. So that's all.
All right. Anyone else? All right, well, it has been moved and seconded to adopt the memorandum of agreement. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Public Works Director's report. And then Jess will do number 4 right after your county road. Yes,
Yeah, we can do.
Go
it
ahead with the
first.
county road. Or which one do you want to do first?
It's the ornamental main one.
I'm sorry?
The one that was pulled off, the condemnation.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, we will go to number 4 on the consent agenda, which is to approve the eminent domain for County Road 1 grading.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So a little bit more background information besides what we put into the report. So as a reminder, we are hoping to go out for bids for the grading of what was 100th Avenue is now County Road 1 this fall. If we can get it out this fall, get it early, we can get the better bids than by waiting and into January and February. So that's the schedule we're shooting for here on this project, and we have been for quite a while. We have there were about a dozen or more parcels. We've acquired all of the parcels with the exception of two. Number one of them is an issue where property was sold from one neighbor to another neighbor, and the neighbor that sold the property has been dead now for quite a long time. And Lisa's office found that there was a problem with the ownership of that small parcel that was sold between these two neighbors. The one neighbor thought he was buying the whole thing, and everybody's always thought he did, but when they did the legal work on it, somehow the survey for that parcel got messed up. So technically, the neighbor owns half of it, and the descendants of this person who's been deceased for quite a long time own the other half of it. So the attorney's office has been trying to find the descendants of this person that sold that parcel. It's a very long process and taking a lot of their time. And at this point, they don't know exactly if they found everybody that was a descendant of this person who died. So the best way, the easiest way for us to take care of this is through eminent domain. They can put in a list, advertisement into the paper saying, we are looking for all of the descendants of this person. And if you feel you are, you need to contact us. If any of them do, they get it added to the list with the descendants we know. And then this, what we're paying for right away from this parcel will then be split up between all the descendants of this person. It's not a whole lot of money either. It's not a very big section. You're going to spend a whole lot more money on staff time than we're going to pay out for what the right of way is for this small section. The other parcel we have is with a business that is right along the road here. Our attorneys have been talking with their attorneys for quite a while. We've designed the road so there will be no impact on this parcel as far as the way it's being operated today. So it's just taken much longer than we would like to see from the time our attorneys get a chance to talk to their attorneys, their attorneys get back to our attorneys. So we would like to start the eminent domain process so we can stay on schedule. And remember, when we start the process, that doesn't mean we're just going to go to court. The conversations will begin or will continue, and hopefully we can get everything taken care of before we come to the bid date. But we need to start the parcel now so that in case we don't run into an agreement with them, we have control over that parcel and we can actually begin the construction process. And since I've been here, I don't think we've actually gone to condemnation more than 3, maybe 4 times at the most. So generally speaking, we're able to get it done yet before we get to the project. But if we don't do this process now and it gets delayed, we're not going to be going out for bids this fall. We'll be going out bids sometime next year or potentially the year after that. So with that, Public Works is requesting that we use the eminent domain process to move forward to acquire these 2 parcels and keep this project online.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Commissioner Gressett.
Second, Anderson.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the Public Works Director's report. Any
Just a comment, these are kind of difficult all the time when you go to this because it sounds like you're trying to take something from the landowner. In this case, quite frankly, both the landowners, it isn't going to affect the one that has the mining operation. And the other piece, it's just a way to clear up the title. We just have to have a way to clear up the title so we can move forward. And it's really the only way that you can put any pressure on somebody to settle.
Move it forward.
And we know that sometimes settling means 9 years later, as we're still trying to settle with the stuff around the roundabouts in Cannon Falls when they were put in, which can get dragged out, but it doesn't stop the process of doing the road. And that's what we need to get to. We need to get to so we can be efficient in how we get our bidding and get the road built. We've already put it off 1 year. We don't need to put it off another year. Just need to move forward.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, road tour.
Road tour. We've been doing a road tour quite, well, COVID kind of messed it up a little bit. Other than that, on an annual basis, we've taken a tour with the commissioners to go out and show the work that we have been working on, to show some of the projects that we will be working on in the future, and get a chance for the commissioners to get a better idea of what we're doing. I think it's always been from our standpoint, it's always been a good day to get out there and let the commissioners see exactly what we've done and what we need to do. So we're asking if you're interested in doing another road tour this year. And if so, we need you to pick a date on when you want to go do this. It's usually been a Wednesday or Thursday in the middle of the week. We start by having everybody come into the office. We'll give a presentation on the 5-year plan and some, other things that we can show you. Hop in a van, grab some bottles of water, and give everybody a vest and go for a drive around the county. Get out occasionally, take a look at some things. Last time we did it, we stopped and looked at the bridge on County Road 2. That was in bad shape. This year we'll probably stop and take a look at the bridge on County Road 2, which is now under construction. So with that, if you could, or if you want to pick a date today or get back to us, if you want to do this and get back to us on dates that work for you, I would like to get it set up. My calendar works best for August, but that doesn't mean you have to go in August. You can go whenever it works for the commissioners.
All right, but possibly aim for August.
Yes, if you would.
All right, so
I think we should do it. I really do.
I would concur.
I don't know, do we need a motion at this meeting, or can we just
Yeah, no, I think if,
find a date so that we can get it advertised, because it has to be a public meeting notification? And
correct. If you could all, get back to us here within the next week or so on days that work, we'll try to find one that fits everybody's calendar.
Sometimes they send out those little surveys and you can check which dates work. You know what I'm talking about?
The doodle poll.
Yeah.
yeah, you put some dates that work together for you guys and send it out to us, and then we'll
Right.
do a doodle and figure out. And
Very good.
hopefully have it back in July, so we get plenty of time to do the advertisement for the
Yep.
meeting.
Very good.
All right, thank
We'll
you.
move forward.
Thank you very much. All right, County Administrators Report, the Mighty Mississippi Cleanup Challenge. Let me do that. I will.
Yeah, and I think you were gonna give some summary data first.
Yes. All right, thank you. Last year, a complaint came at Welch Township about particular huge mess down at County Road 18 and Sturgeon Lake Road on debris and trash that was down by the river's edge. And we're not talking about, well, actually, he came in with over 80 names on a petition and over 92 photos. And we were talking about dirty diapers, broken glass, bags of trash, a very, very immense amount of garbage down there. So it wasn't just your average. Well, then I started finding out, I was there that night, so I started looking at who is responsible for that area. All right, so the problem was, because the poor gentleman had been to the county, now he was at the township, he'd been to the city of Red Wing, and he had been to Prairie Island, and he had been to the DNR. The road is a county road. One side of it is city of Red Wing property. The other side of it is Welch Township property. It's adjacent to Prairie Island. The trail goes down to the actual area where it's happening, and that is DNR. Well, trying to get all those agencies on board to do something, because pretty much everyone was saying, well, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. So I decided that I would at least try to take it on and see what I might be able to do about getting people together to do something. And once I also found out that it was an absolute impossibility for enforcement, decided to try to start a public awareness campaign and try to wake people up. So last year it was quite successful in that area. We ended up with 5 different videos, 5 or 6 different newspaper articles, magazine article. I can't remember what else we did, but we tried to get it out and about as much as possible. Mr. Arneson suggested that this year we try to actually do a full statewide cleanup with all the counties that were up and down the river in the state of Minnesota. Because the Mississippi River is registered as right now as number 6 on the most endangered rivers list. Well, it is the lifeblood of the Mississippi, lifeblood of the heartland. So that's a big deal when you really start to look at it, that it is number 6 on the most endangered rivers list. So this year we did challenge other county commissioners up and down the river in Minnesota. Becky Norton, city council member in Red Wing, also challenged the other city councils. We had 7 different counties that were very interested. In the end, on our challenge, we had 3 counties besides Goodhue County, so 4 altogether. We ended up with 331 volunteers, 445 volunteer hours that were put in to clean the river. 154 bags of trash were collected. 2 trucks collected larger debris. One county, the county that won the challenge, had to collect their trash and link it as pounds, because they had 2,387.5 pounds of trash they collected, and also 53 bags of recyclables. So we did want to say that for the winner this year of the Mighty Mississippi Cleanup Challenge is Dakota County, with 178 volunteers, 335 participation hours, and the 2,387.5 pounds of debris collected. They will be getting a certificate from the county that will be signed by the county and the city council of Red Wing. And also with help from our staff, we were able to get a signed certificate from the governor's office as well. Just congratulating them on their achievement, and anyone gets is bragging rights because the river is the winner. So
I'll go ahead and add to that. So at this time, staff would also like to thank Commissioner Flanders for her dedication and guidance on this project. Due to her time and effort put into both local cleanup efforts and statewide cleanup challenge campaign, Goodhue County staff felt compelled for her efforts deserve to be recognized. It seems we were not the only ones. It is my pleasure to announce that Goodhue County and Commissioner Flanders have been awarded a 2023 Achievement Award for the National Association of Counties for the efforts on the Mighty Mississippi Cleanup Challenge. Due to this award, Goodhue County has been invited to attend the NACO Achievement Awards luncheon from 12 to 2 on July 23rd, 2023 at NACO's annual conference and exposition in Travis County, Texas. With that, we have a certificate.
it's really exciting. Thank you very, very much.
He does.
So the winner's more than the river. Right. That is wonderful.
So
Thank you so much.
You going to NACO?
I don't know. Are we going to NACO?
Good.
Texas in the summer. Great. That is really, really exciting. Thank you very, very much to everyone. Very, very exciting. Well, I'm thrilled to think that we might be able to actually do something to specifically clean up the Mississippi River, and it starts in Minnesota. That would be really, really thrilling. So thank you all very, very much. And thank you, Briggs, for getting us a governor's certificate for the county. That was wonderful as well. Thank you all very much. Thank you. All right, for your information, we have Road and Bridge Annual Report, which we had an opportunity to look over, Project Status Report, Monthly Finance Reports. Are there any County Board Committee reports?
Just yesterday, we had the District 9 AMC meeting down in Austin for the 11 counties in southeast Minnesota. It was really well attended. We had like 60 some people there. Had 4 of our commissioners that were there. We really appreciate that. It was a good meeting. Got a lot of information. Heard from our AMC policy analysts about all the legislation that got passed. I think it was 62 or 6,500 bills were introduced this session, which is more than usually in a 2-year biennium get introduced. The adage that there ought to be a law went through. Everything's got a law now. The analysts are still trying to unpack all the information for counties on what some of these human services and public health and transportation and all those different approved funding streams that are going to be funneling down to us. Trying to figure it all out. So it was a good meeting.
Thank you very, very much. Yes, it was. That is one of the unexpected consequences of passing legislation, especially when money's involved. That, I mean, it's wonderful that it is going to roll down to the counties so that we can use it for different things that are needed. It's just that then you also have to put in the infrastructure to be able to do that. And infrastructure is challenging to put in. Any new or old business? All right. Review and approve county claims.
Move approval.
We have a second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to pay the county bills. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it. All right, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting here in Pine Island. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very, very much for attending the meeting today.